Hi, I'm Alvin.
I'm Mel.
And today we're reviewing Episode 8 of Star Trek Picard, Broken Pieces.
Beware, there are spoilers ahead.
Live long and prosper.
Engage.
On screen.
I'm giving it all she's got, Captain.
Do it.
Photon torpedoes armed and ready to launch.
He's dead, Jim.
Red alert.
Today is a good day to die.
I'm a doctor, not a zookeeper.
We are Borg.
Make it so.
Warp speed, now.
Hey, and welcome to today's show. It's quite an interesting episode. I mean, it was kind of nice to see Rizzo, even though she's an antagonist, we kind of see a softer side of her when she's talking to her aunt, who happens to be that doctor, that Soji was talking to, who knew all about the,
Right. And now it makes sense why she knew all that stuff, because she
says Jat Vaj.
Yeah, exactly.
We see that Commander O is a half Vulcan, half Romulan.
Mm-hmm.
They're all part of this, all part of that secret organization. Rizzo was the only one, I guess, and her aunt, kind of, who, I guess, didn't murder themselves when they saw the visions that were bestowed upon them. And this, cool, I don't know if it was a star system, not man-made, but when they found the constructed, solar system, with all the suns, like a collection of stars or whatever, I guess supposedly was all constructed as a warning, as I think what they mentioned in the episode, to future generations. At least that's the assumption I think they're making.
Right. Yeah. And we're going off by what the Romulans assume of what they found and how they've interpreted this. And
This is like with anything else, though, right? We have, all these tales and stories, from that were written thousands and thousands of years ago. And, there comes a point where you have to, decide, was this real? Was this from a past civilization?
Right.
How much stock do we put in it? Has it been altered?
I mean, this one at least seems like it's not been altered, and also apparently drives people insane, but,
Yeah, it could be maybe the way the information's conveyed, that's why it...
Yeah. I mean, also, just because this terrible, terrible thing happened, literally tens of thousands of years ago, just never going to create any synthetic life ever again. That's a pretty strict rule to follow.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're talking about thresholds, right? And it's
right.
I guess it's one of those, thing. We've seen this many times in sci-fi where they talk about when they create synthetic life of any kind, the AI, a Skynet, whoever, rising up against the creators.
See, they still haven't really told us what happened, what they've seen. Did they just rise up against their creators? Did it somehow trigger some other sort of huge disaster? We don't know. And I mean, I would be a little disappointed if it was just, we saw that, we created synthetic life and they thought they were better than us and they rose up against, all the organic life. Because, I mean, that's pretty preventable if you don't treat them like garbage,
I can see a situation, they tried to reach out, they sent out these envoys, they tried to make peace. And they started, the synthetics tried to make peace, and then the non-synthetics, or the organics, I guess you can call us, they started the war, and because they hated them because they're different, and and then Picard comes in and says, no, we mustn't do that because this is what happened before. This is not what we should be doing, because every time this has happened in history, it has just led to cruelty. And
I mean, that was kind of his little speech near the end of the episode, was kind of a little hope speech like that. But yeah, I'm wondering if it somehow triggered some other sort of disaster, accident. I don't know. But yeah, I'd like to know more about what exactly the people are seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of cool seeing Rios deal with with his past issues and his his really bad experience in Starfleet and what, drove him away. Kind of convenient that it turns out that it was another, I guess, a sister of Soji's, maybe she was one of these, these part of this envoy, right?
Well, she said her sister and her mother was how she described them, so.
Yeah. But I did I still like the fact that we're getting to really, I don't know, I feel like out of all the side characters, Rios has been the one who has the most depth to him. It was really cool seeing his holograms.
Yes, I love the scene with the 5 holograms. I mean, it went on for a while, is a point that you made. But, I thought it was a lot of fun. she starts asking, talking to them each individually. And then she's like, okay, this isn't getting me anywhere. I'm just going to put you all in a room together and we're going to hash this out.
Yeah, like one giant, counseling session with all.
Absolutely, with all of Rios. Yeah.
What's really nice is that, as kind of like a mirror of what Rios did for Raffi, Raffi brings tea to Rios once, she feels he's ready to talk to her, At the beginning, he's like, piss off, and that kind of leads her to talk to the hologram. And she's like, pissing off, but then at the end, like, he's ready to open up and he opens up.
Yeah, they have a nice friendship and they both are kind of, messed up. They both maybe, drink too much, whatever, but they're there for each other. And she gave him his space when he asked for it, which was nice.
Yeah.
A lot of times in TV shows, you have people who are really pushy and like, no, I'm going to come and help you whether you want to be helped or not. And it's like, no, go leave me alone.
What I like, it was kind of cool to see. Okay, so it's nice that Agnes isn't murderous anymore.
It is nice, yeah, and she's realized that maybe she should have been murderous in the first place. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm still wondering. Was part of it, because of the mind meld? It was, but did the mind meld force her to do it, or did she make those decisions based off of it? Which is what I think actually happened,
yeah,
and now she regrets that.
I didn't get the idea that she was forced into it, but I did get the idea that what she saw, was so horrific and overwhelming to her that she did make these decisions based off that. And now that she's been able to kind of step back and kind of learn about the situation from a different angle, she's like, oh, that's not worth murdering people over, because that's not in her nature naturally. I don't think she's one of the, softer characters.
Which she was always meant to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why, she was the one, within the story that they decided that this is the person who this stuff they would do with this stuff, right, to really change her.
And it's, very dramatic coming from her, because you can tell she really doesn't want to do it, but she just believes that she has to. And now she's like, well, maybe I don't have to.
It was cool to see Agnes, finally get to meet Soji.
Yeah.
It's like this realization, this dream that's finally come true for her. All her work was leading up to someone like Soji.
Right. And that's what she wanted, her whole professional life. And then, to have her turn against synthetics so quickly, because of what the Romulans showed her, it couldn't override her natural curiosity and joy in the fact that Soji exists. And she's just like, you drink when you're thirsty. That's beautiful, And now she's like, she's like, now that I've met you, I can't kill you. And then that's kind of what leads her to the realization that maybe she was working for the wrong side. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it was kind of a nice, talk between Picard and Soji in that.
Yeah.
Where they're talking about data and, it just felt very genuine. I really liked that scene.
Yeah, that was nice.
Let's jump over to the Borg cube stuff. For me, it was still like this episode again was still the weaker part of the episode was the stuff that happened on the Borg cube. I felt like they didn't really accomplish too much, although it was kind of cool to see Seven, interact with the cube and almost like take the position of like what a Borg queen would do.
I liked the parts on the Borg cube this week better than last week, but it still felt pretty added in. It felt like they we have to go jump back to these characters when they kind of, it was an afterthought when they were putting together the episode, just kind of to keep that storyline involved. But I like how Seven kind of, she realized, she was like, I might not want to let them go after I do this. Like she might enjoy being a Borg queen a little too much, but she did.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is anytime you have that much power, right? It's, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, I mean, I'm sure, and once you connect, I'm sure for her it was difficult reconnecting because when you have those voices, it's you're not thinking necessarily. It's not just you who's thinking,
right? And I mean, if she's got control over all of them, I mean, she also might, still after all these years, still kind of secretly miss being a part of a collective of many minds, being, maybe she thought like going back to that she might not want to let that go if she had the chance.
To me it sounded too like the Borg like let her go as well, because I said when she did before she disconnected, she said the Borg is collectively say Annika has work to do, and then she gets let go.
I just read that as like her talking about herself in the third person kind of,
which I could also see too as the queen
Annika, as opposed to like Seven, like kind of like talking about herself with her human name, which she seems to use more now, which is nice. But
and I think with the Queen too, she's always like been like a coordinator. That's what she is. So she is the Borg, but she's not the Borg because she's like the individual controlling them. She's like the main. She's the coordinating unit of all the Borg. If all the Borg have specific functions, that's her function. She's like meant to be, the taskmaster, if you will, right? But I didn't like how, again, Elnor was just kind of useless throughout that episode, other than just like killing.
Yeah,
killing people.
That's kind of what he does. To be fair, I feel like he's one of the weakest characters on the show. Even before the stuff in the Borg cube, when he was on the ship, I'm like, okay, he got on the ship and swore to protect them. And then he didn't really do anything.
He was there, he's there to be the naive character and a fish out of water character. I mean, I like how when he sees Seven, he goes out and he goes to hug her.
He hugs.
But I felt like I liked that because he was like, okay, maybe what happened before really did affect him. But then they never deal with it.
No, yeah.
Why is he sad? What is he feeling that makes him want to hug her other than just relief? Like.
I mean, I think just like, oh my God, somebody's here to help me. I'm not alone on a Borg cube anymore.
And I wish they did more, like did more with him in that sense, like. Right.
I mean, they didn't exactly have time to stop and chat about their feelings.
Yeah, that's true.
But
and it was a long episode already too.
Yeah, it was. And I just get the idea that he's not just a fish out of water, but he's also very young, and in a way that he's not just a young man, but he's also very inexperienced. Like he was on that world being trained. His entire life and never saw anything off of it. So I get the idea that he's just in some ways, very sheltered and is just really happy. He chose to stay on the cube instead of going with Picard, but now he's like, what do I do? Nobody's giving me orders. I'm all alone on a cube. Oh my God, because he doesn't have Hugh anymore. I just took him hugging Seven as kind of like an extension of that, like just like so thankful that there's somebody else there who maybe might know what to do and he doesn't have to decide this anymore just because he doesn't know what the heck he's doing, But
now let's jump back over to Rios, because we find out what happened to Rios and his former captain. And as we mentioned earlier, it was because I guess he had met one of Soji's sisters, and I felt that was a really big plot convenience that he had met her sister before. But the thing is that he mentioned that got all covered up and all this stuff, and then later we see Picard talking to Clancy. You liked that scene a lot.
I liked it. Yeah, it was great where she's
maybe somewhat coming around
him and it's like, let me finish, like because he's making all these excuses for why she should help and everything, and she's like, I've already decided to help you, shut up.
But I also don't think that if they actually went to Starbase 12, honestly I don't feel like they would have been troops to help them.
No, probably not.
I feel like it would have been one of those things where it's like, we're not here to help you, we're here to murder you all.
I mean, I feel like you said, like Clancy, I think really did want to help Picard and really was agreeing to it. But as soon as the orders go through Starfleet and, the head of security gets wind of it, then I think she would change the orders. I think that's where it would change. But I do think Clancy was genuine, and she's like, you've convinced me. I just really like I love Picard, but I do love seeing him as we've seen him in this series, a bit more human. Not always in charge. So I have to say, I do love seeing him get told off. So I think that's why I love that scene, just because it's like, you're not always right. Like, not always, a lot of the time.
Yeah. But. And I guess just another plot convenience, Elnor really did just find the SOS beacon. You and me were talking about this last episode too.
Yeah.
I really would have wished that all it would have taken was just like Hugh in his dying breath, go find this go find this beacon. Help, it'll get you help. That's all they would have needed, and instead, Elnor just kind of found it.
Right.
It does make sense though that Hugh and Seven knew each other, right? It absolutely makes sense.
Total sense. But there could have been just like a tiny little explanation, and it would have made so much more sense for the plot. But I feel like this show,
I think there's 10 episodes.
Yeah,
so I think we were talking about like maybe stuff was cut.
Maybe stuff was cut. Sometimes in movies and TV shows they plan to explain things and then they cut little explanations that would have made things make more sense just because they ran out of time. And like we said, this episode is already running really long. And I think there's been several kind of plot convenience things.
So what we've seen so far
in this series, particularly in the last couple episodes and this one, which none of them are are terrible. They're
They're
not
not as glaring as like in Discovery, which we
Right.
won't get into right now. But
wrong show.
but I will say, I do wonder where we're going to next. If we're going to the home world of of the synthetics, which I wonder.
I'm expecting a big showdown.
I thought it was, honestly, I originally imagined like, here's this abandoned planet that Maddox went to build all these synthetics. But to me, it sounds like we're actually going to a home world where maybe there's a whole wackadoodle of synthetics living.
I got the idea that Maddox built them, like the first one, so they're not that old. It's not like it's been like some sort of ancient hidden race of synthetics around.
Maybe they have though, right?
Maybe. Well, maybe there's some sort of remnants of the previous civilization that Maddox found. That's a possibility. I don't think it's really been hinted at in the show yet, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to see. I'm really excited to see where they go. Narek is following them, right? We know that.
Yeah, he jumped.
He snuck in there.
Even though they disabled the tracker, they can still follow them. But yeah, I don't know if his sister is following them, since since she seems to be disabled by the Borg, and I don't know what happened to her.
I really thought, at the beginning of the episode, she mentions to her aunt, I would have made a better Borg than you did, and then at the end, I'm like, I wonder if she's going to be assimilated, like.
Don't think Seven assimilated anyone. But
No,
we'll
I don't
find
think
out.
so either. Yeah, but it'd be interesting. I'd like to think that if Picard activates his SOS, if that's how Seven and like Elnor will like arrive.
Big damn heroes at the end with the Borg cube show up and just I can see that happening.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be, even though we've already figured that out, I wouldn't be mad if it happened, just because I think it would look awesome.
Be kind of cool. Yeah,
it'd be awesome if they could be saved by a Borg cube.
Yeah, but I mean,
because there are still Romulans already en route to that planet. Now they don't have access to the Borg transwarp conduits, like Picard's ship.
Yeah, and then I think So I think I'm excited to find out what happens in the next in the big finale, and we'll find out next week.
Mm-hmm.
The Trekily theme is Gravity by Stanley Gurvich, found on Artlist. All stock images and videos were acquired through Pixabay. Podcasting services acquired through Spreaker. All images and videos related to Star Trek are owned by CBS Corporation and are used within fair use laws. Please don't sue us. Thanks for being aboard today. If you like the show, please hit that like and subscribe button and also hit the notification bell.
We really enjoy doing these episodes, and if you'd like to support the show, then please consider buying us a coffee.
You can do that on coolviscus.com, or you can also check out our other shows.
Until next time, live long and prosper.